Am I my sister's keeper? Am I my brother's keeper? If I am not, who is? Who will lift me up? Who will lift them up? When we are all seeking love and support without extending love and support, who is there to provide it? But why does this who person that's coming to keep us, uplift us, and support us love us more than we love us? And how long are we willing to collectively wait on this Doctor Who to come save us while we continue to die mentally, spiritually, and physically? Am I my sister's keeper? Am I my brother's keeper? I am not, because I am my sister and I am my brother who is within me, and we keep each other.
Welcome to Melanated Conversations, our narrative from our perspective.
Here on the podcast, we are amplifying the voices of Black women and sharing their powerful stories of transformation.
I'm Tyrion.
And I'm Yana. Let's start the show.
Welcome back to another episode of Melanated Conversations. I am your co-host, Tyrion.
And I am your co-host, Yana.
Yes, welcome back, ladies, and our few good gentlemen who listen in and tune in every week. Thank you for showing up with us today. We are now in season 4. Whoop, whoop. Whoop. That's exciting.
I didn't get it out my throat. Y'all heard that?
I'm sorry, you over there struggling. I forgot. I'm like, whoop. Wait, it's a celebrate. It's always a celebrate.
Yes.
We're excited about being back for season 4. Thank you guys for tuning in. But we have a special guest with us today because we love to bring along new friends.
Mm-hmm.
And on today's show, we have Miss Sarah McGriff. Welcome to the show, Sarah.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Yes, we're so happy to have you here with us today. And we will be chatting with Miss Sarah about all the wonderful things she's doing. She's an author, she's a filmmaker, and I just cannot wait to get into this chat. Well, before we get into our melanated chat, y'all know how we like to do. As always, we're going to play a round of Don't Drop the Mic, although we may change it. You never know. So Yana, you want to get into that?
Yeah, yes. I have quite a few questions that, a few cards that I've pulled for us to answer. Do you mind playing a couple rounds with us, Sarah?
I don't mind at all.
Okay. I like it. Well, Terry and I would actually answer these questions too, so you're not alone in this regard.
Okay.
So, my first question is a life question card, and it asks, what's the first thing a Black woman does before she raises up on you? Now, it's multiple choice, so let me give you your choices. A, secures her wig. B, takes off her earrings. C, puts her hair in a ponytail. Or D, asks someone to hold her purse.
I would say take off her earrings.
Yeah.
That's
That's what I'm thinking.
that's a solid one. Have you ever had to take your earrings off on somebody?
Lord have yes, actually at work. So
my goodness.
But God is good because I needed my nursing license, so I just had to walk away. I don't know. I guess thank God he interfered because I probably would not have had my nursing license right now. But, some people just push you to that point. And it had been going on for a while and just been trying to handle it, things in a professional manner. Just reporting to my supervisors and no one really seemed to take me serious. So, unfortunately, when it gets to that point, it's just time to leave the place. So I ended up leaving that job and going somewhere else. But yes, I've had to get to that point, and I've just pray to God I don't ever have to get to that point with anybody again.
I understand. Sometimes the earrings gotta come off.
Yes.
And sometimes work will take you there sometimes. But
definitely.
I'm glad that you were able to find a healthy resolve by
Yes.
What about you, Tyrion?
Can you read off the choices again?
Sure. A, secures her wig. B, takes off her earrings. C, puts her hair in a ponytail. Or D, asks someone to hold her purse.
Okay, so I'm going to have to say B, C, and D.
Oh, you got a lot of actions. You got a lot of steps.
Well, listen, because I was going to say secure my wig, but I don't wear wigs, really. So
I'm good for a wig or two.
No, I know. It would have been all of the above if it wasn't for that. But I feel like because I'm going to have a purse in my hand, so somebody need to hold my purse so I can pull my hair back so I can take my earrings off. So I got to free my hands up first. So I need to do B, C, and D before I lay my hands on you. That's all.
Goodness. Okay.
Yana, what about you?
My answer is not even on these multiple choice questions.
Oh.
I mean, those are good. Those are.
Let's hear it.
Well, I feel like there's an action that happens before those steps. And it's the action that in the Bible, it says warning comes before destruction.
I'm not with you today.
So, before we get to securing the wig, before we take off the earrings, before we put the hair follicles back in a ponytail, and before we ask someone to hold our purse.
Yes.
All right. We put a little swivel in our neck.
Yes.
We warm up our body.
Yes.
And we give you a look that should tell you this is not the time nor the place.
Or the place, exactly.
So that's my answer.
Yes. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. You gave us the pre-show.
The pre-show, exactly.
To try Jesus, don't try me, but I will. Shout out to Toby and VJ.
Yes.
No,
big fact.
And this is a show of women empowerment, and we talk about but let's be real. Whether if you're black or not, you melanated or non-melanated.
Yes.
Somebody will try you in this lifetime.
Yes.
Yes, they will.
But you gotta, I was about to say something, but I'm just moving forward. But no.
Say what you gonna say.
Girl,
I'm trying to bring this back in a lightful way because I don't want to start our show off like, oh, we talking about women fighting. No, we're not.
It was a question that was asked part of a game.
Yeah. Okay. So y'all know we don't condone violence, but
no.
don't seek a trial if you don't want to be tried. Amen.
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
One more question. I had one more question. You still want to play with the Sarah?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you kept saying, all right. I was like, chicken head, chicken head.
I didn't even hear that.
I'm sorry.
Okay, on a serious note. Or maybe not. But what is something you hate, but you wish you loved?
That is a good question.
Y'all want to ponder on that while I give my answer?
Yeah, let me ponder on that.
Because this just needs to be said. It's been said before. If you haven't followed Terry and I's journey on this podcast, maybe you're new to this, but we're true to this. Mm-hmm. We miss me with the spades. I wish I could love it, but I don't like the spades. I don't play it. It gives me anxiety. It stresses me out. It causes broken homes.
Now, I don't have to agree with you on that. I've never learned how to. I've tried to learn how to play spades. It's just not for me.
It's so aggressive.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
It is aggressive.
You trying to learn? They're like, no, you won't know how to play. You're not my partner. I'm like, but I need to learn.
I'm gonna learn.
Exactly. How am I supposed to learn how to play it if you're not willing to teach me? And then, I mean, I guess that's just like a sin in the Black community, because if you don't know how to play spades, they look at you like you're crazy, like you just totally exiled from the whole Black community. No barbecues, no nothing.
Right, exactly. I mean, Yana, you may have just answered the question for all of us.
There's got to be something else out there, though. Is there a food or trend or?
I don't know.
I'm sure there's some trends that I just don't be like. I just don't.
Well, I have another, and by the time that this is aired, this may be this phrase may be dead by then, hopefully. But I just don't care for it's the blank for me.
It's the phrase for me.
Yes, it irks me.
No, I think I think it needs to leave with 2020. I agree.
Please.
Yeah. We had it. We used it.
Yeah.
Done this job.
I agree with that too.
It did its job.
I'm probably going to get some X for that one. I'm sorry, y'all. It's the phrase for me.
Yeah.
But no. Is it? So that's what we're going with? Just the
yeah, and I think too, it got colonized a little bit too, so.
That might have been part of it too.
Yeah.
Because I think that was like my introduction. Well, it wasn't even it was freshly out at the time when that TikTok.
I was going to say, when I first saw it, that's how I first saw it, was it had already been taken.
This ain't, no, that ain't the move.
Yeah.
That's not the move.
Yeah.
I digress. But thank you, Sarah. We appreciate you playing with us. I know you probably didn't expect us to go there. We wouldn't probably live with you, but
no, that's all right. That's all right.
We appreciate people that just jump right on in and just
definitely
with us, because we likes to play.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, again, thanks for playing along with us. We're just gonna slide on into our next segment, which is all about you. We want to hear more about you and your story and all the great things that you have going on.
Okay.
Yes. We want to know, who is Sarah McGriff? What are your roots? And can you just share a little bit with us about your backstory?
So I'm a 40-year-old single mom of 2 children. My son is 18 and my daughter is 10. I was born and raised and still live here in Lake Wales, Florida. So pretty much my roots are, when I graduated from high school, I went to FAMU, Florida A&M University. My original goals were to become a cardiovascular surgeon. But, that got derailed when I got pregnant my junior year in college. So I moved back home to, get some help from my parents so, raise my child. I wanted my child to be born and raised here also. So I just kind of worked my way up, and I decided to take a different path. I wanted to become a nurse like my mom. My mom's been a nurse for 35 years. So I took that route. I was a certified nurse assistant for 6 years. Then I went up and I became a licensed practical nurse for another 6 years. And then I went on and got my degree as a registered nurse, and I've been a registered nurse since 2017. I've always been an avid reader and writer. I love to write. I've always written short stories. I've always written, little novels and stuff. And I picked it up more when I started working as a nurse. It was an outlet for me from all the stress of dealing with a nurse, dealing with nursing and the stress that comes along with it. And so, dealing with experiences and just having like a particular patient that I drew to at one point in my career, that's what made me want to start writing my book. And I actually got with another author who owns her own publishing company, and she helped me write my first book, Mind Under Troubled Waters. And so that's pretty much, my background story right now, and it has just led me to want to pursue other things.
Yes. And first up, can we give it up to the Rattlers? Come on, fam.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
I always claim fam like I went there. I feel like I did. I was supposed to, but my mother had other plans for my life. No. No, but kudos to you, and just you telling a little bit about your experience as you journey through becoming an RN, and once you started in that field, which is probably true for a lot of people in that space right now, even more so because we're still battling through this pandemic in this space. Like there are I can't imagine a level of stress, the daily stress that accumulates just from work alone, and from the constant, like just right now, all the constant things that you have to navigate through.
Exactly.
Your story resonates with me so much, not from a nurse perspective, because you better than me in that way. I love people, but I don't know if I can. My hats off to all nurses and doctors and first responders, because y'all do the work that I know I could not do.
Exactly.
But I resonated with what you mentioned about how you channeled how you use writing as a I don't want to say coping mechanism, but as a way to channel a lot of the energy that was coming from the stress of writing. Yes. I mean, from working as a nurse. Not to like insert myself in here, but just one as a way to kind of identify, and how I identify with you and your message is that the same with me in my space as it related. I have a background in HR, and it was pretty stressful. But how I kind of worked through that was turning that pain into, like you said, turning the pain into your pen, putting everything out and writing through it, and navigating inward to, like you said, to manage the stress. And for you, it turned into a whole book. So
a whole book, yes.
which we're going to get into detail about here in a moment.
Definitely.
Before I go into my next question, did you have something you wanted to say? You wanted to chime in on, Terry?
No, I was just going to ask her what nursing unit are you in? Like what area of nursing are you working
I was I was in the cardiology unit. We did a lot of we took care of a lot of patients who had surgeries, fresh surgeries, who had basic routine like cardiac catheterizations. So I was on the cardiac unit. Okay. And I was blessed to be there because, like I said, my original passion was to become a cardiac nurse. So to be able to, a cardiac surgeon. So to be able to work on, the cardiac floor was a blessing. But just like Yana said, it was very stressful at the same time, dealing with different people and different doctors and your coworkers and personalities and emotions, in addition to family members who are constantly concerned or upset or just, complaining, and even patients. It's just, you just have to find a way to channel that stress and not let it get to you. And that's when I really started back up, picking up my writing. And I'm just so thankful that God, led me through that channel, because there are so many other nurses who find other unconventional ways to deal with, their stress. And, we see, I've seen a lot of nurses who've gotten caught up into alcoholism, drugs, and just, it's really sad. So I thank God for, guiding me in that direction in my original passion. So.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Taking care of our hearts. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. What would you say? I know writing in particular was key in helping you navigate through the stress, but what would you say, what was your method of writing? Did you kind of journal through it? Did you intentionally go in with, okay, I want to write about this topic, and you just started to write your book around the moments of some of the things that you identified from a stress standpoint, or things that you identified within your personal community? Like, how did you get to the writing?
I got to the writing. I started just doing like poetry, just, I did my poetry, and I wrote poetry, relating to, being a nurse, or being just, a worker of myself, just dealing with other people's issues. And then I eventually, I started journaling, I kind of got more in depth with what, trying to deal with, and just put everything that I was dealing with at work on paper. And then, I just happened to encounter, I had a patient in his early 20s, Black male patient. He tried to commit suicide because he had just found out that he was in really bad kidney disease and was going to have to go on dialysis. And, at that age, that's really devastating. Dialysis is something very serious to deal with. And he felt like trying to commit suicide would be the only way for him to deal with it, or to just take him away from that. And it just brings back to, things that we really need to touch on in the Black community, especially when it comes to mental health. This young man, his symptoms, he just wasn't being taken seriously. None of the doctors would listen to him. None of the other clinicians would try to reach out or even try to get him the help that he needed. And it's all a mind thing. Some people just need some people just need someone to talk to, especially African American patients. And so I just talked to him. The more I talked to him, the more I began to realize, we are really affected by what's going on in our community, our environment. Mental wise, it's just not physical stuff. It's mental stuff also. And so that's what drove me to really, focus on the mental aspect of being a nurse dealing with the patient. And that's how I started writing my book.
Were you going to say something, Anna? Yeah, no, I think that's extremely important. I think a lot of times, for me, a great sign of a good sign of a great nurse is, or any kind of, caretaker, is not just somebody who is there present, making sure that physically you're okay, but also, taking care of your emotional and your mental needs as well, or at least being there as a confidant. Because a lot of times, somebody could, like you said, that young man was in the hospital and, was going into, kidney failure, and was something so life altering was about to happen for him at such a young age, and not knowing how to deal with that. And it's like, okay, well, yes, I can take care of your physical needs, but also like, well, let's talk about this. How is this making you feel? You know what I'm saying? And knowing like, okay, you may not be a mental health expert, or, a therapist or counselor, or, you may not have a background in that field, but just knowing that someone is there that cares. And like you said, a lot of times just having somebody to listen to you whenever you're dealing with something or going through something that's hard is extremely helpful. So kudos to you for even being, aware and present in the moment with that young man. But now let's talk about your book. You authored a book titled Mind Under Troubled Waters. It made me think of a song Bridge Over Troubled Waters. By, who is that by? I can't think of the name of the person. But just the title of the
yes.
book, just it made me think of the title of that song. Very catchy. But anyway, your book addresses the stigmas, like you just stated, around mental illness within the Black community, and particularly with young Black men and women.
Yes.
You just share a little bit about your book, and also kind of your book kind of led you down a path of filmmaking, and we'll talk even more in detail about that as well. But can you just share a little bit more about your book, and then just kind of how you started heading in the direction of filmmaking?
Okay. The name of my book is Mind Under Troubled Waters, and I titled it that way because mental health, especially in the Black community, is so deep, it's so hidden, just like being underwater or, in murky waters where it's just, it's just there. No one's, trying to bring light to it, trying to, come up with solutions. So that's why I named my book that way, Mind Under Troubled Waters. So it's a fiction book, but it's based on stuff that's going on in our community. It's about a Black male, teenage basketball player who suffers from mental illnesses. He lives with a family. His father was a former NBA basketball player, and his mom, and he also has a brother who suffers from autism. And so this young man, he's really torn between being an NBA player like his father and also wanting to be in a field or like a mental health counsel where he can help children with disabilities, or because he's very drawn to, his brother and everything that's going on with him. He's drawn to the autism side. So he's torn between a career as a basketball player and a career as a teacher or a mental health counselor. And so when he tries to talk to people about it, people are very dismissive of him, of his dreams of learning about autism and other disability. His father is very negative. His mother is just very passive. She doesn't really, comfort him the way that he needs. And instead of seeking out the help that he needs or anyone helping him, he takes unconventional ways to deals with his mental illness. And the book also speaks about, some family secrets that goes on in his life that may, lead to the issues that goes on that he's dealing with in the present. Just a lot of back history with his family, particularly his dad's side of the family. I delve into mental institutions. I delve into mental prisons. I talk about, stigmas in the community, incest, rape that, people in our community try to hide under the rug because they don't want to talk about it. I even talk about, religion as far as how the church also deals with, people with mental illness. They tell, and we see that now. And especially in our community, it's taboo. Mental health is taboo. They tell us to go pray about it or to seek God. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with praying and seeking God for it. But, God also gives us the wisdom to seek help, through programs, through doctors, and just talking to each other. And that's what I'm addressing in my book. And I think it's imperative that we as a community, I'm glad that we're finally making strides and finally recognizing, but we still have a lot of work to do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Especially when it comes to situations where children are being molested or sexually abused by their family members and no one wants to address it. And I also talk about that in my book also, because that's part of the background of Thomas is the main character's family that has been held secret for so long. And, once you read the book and you start seeing it, you'll see why. But it's definitely something that needs to be addressed. I really wanted to do it this way just because, the young man that I had as a patient, influenced me. But of course, with HIPAA laws, we can't really disclose a lot. So I just kind of, filtered everything that I dealt with him into my experiences in a fictional type way. But it's definitely factual that, in a sense, that it's going on in our community and it's still going on.
Ooh, that book is loaded. Let's just say this start
it's
there.
Very loaded.
Yes, and
yes.
Before, I know Terry asked you about the filmmaking side, which I definitely want you to address here in a moment. But still on the book side, just writing through something that is such a heavy topic, that is such a kind of like far end discussion for, you know, our community, for the Black community. How was it for you in your own mental space writing this? Like, how did you feel like when you were writing? How was it processed for you?
Oh, it was so emotional. I cried through a lot of the stuff, the scenes, and that I was writing down, because it just seemed, because I know people who going through this and who went through this, going through this, and are still suffering with the detriments of being abused or raped in their youth, and it's still having a lifelong effect on them, you know, as adults. So I definitely, it was definitely an emotional thing for me to have to deal with, but it took some time. It took me 4 months to write this book, and I would write this book, you know, late at night or early in the morning, about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, where my kids were asleep. So, and then having to get up and go and work a 12-hour shift, but I was able to get through it, and it was just emotional for me. And so, you know, for me to delve my feelings and, you know, the characters of the book into this writing, it took a toll on me, but, you know, I'm just thankful that hopefully, you know, writing this book will help someone else.
Absolutely.
You know, with what's going on in their life.
Yes, absolutely. And I definitely feel that it has, and it will continue to. I just you explaining the book, I was just like, because I think I identify with you as a writer too, because I write from a emotional, transformative, expressive voice. And sometimes I have to like literally remove myself from my work, because it gets personal and deep. And especially when you're writing from personal experiences and things like that, it's like you get those rush of emotions all over again. And it can really, like, for me, it could like really, it physically paralyzes me sometimes. So that's why I was curious to know, like, from your experience, how was that process for you in navigating and writing the book? As Terry mentioned, that, you know, you've of course you've written this phenomenal book, and through this journey, it's led you down a path of filmmaking, which you also had journeyed into creating your own production company, Feel the Real Productions. Tell us a little about that leap and how you transitioned through, you know, writing to filmmaking, all the things.
After I wrote my book, I always used to see this, I follow this guy on Instagram. He's has his own film production company in Orlando, Florida, which is not too far from where I live. And I've always written like little short plays and stuff. And so it's just, you know, it just kind of laid on my heart to reach out to him. I really just wanted to come on the set with him just to see how things work, to see if I would like it, getting into the film industry. And he actually, come to find out, he used to be part of a rap group down here back in the day called the Florida Boys. I don't know if you all remember them or not, but
it sounds familiar, but I don't know for sure.
Okay. So he used to be part of the Florida Boys, and my cousin was in that group, and so he's known my cousin and our family for years. You know, it's a small world, and it's just amazing how he puts people in your path to get you to where, you know, he needs you to be. And so I reached out to him, just wanted to come on a set to just see, you know, how it works. And he actually gave me the opportunity to write 2 screenplays. He's a Christian, you know, artist now, and he has his own radio show. So he gave me an opportunity to write 2 screenplays, just short little screenplays, and that was a blessing to me because, you know, he didn't have to do that. And we were just kind of, I wrote them and we got together and we discussed, and we were able to get a couple of people who were willing to play the parts. And that's how I got into filmmaking. And so I decided to go ahead and, start my own company from there, Feel the Real Productions. Just like he gave me the opportunity to work with him, I want to give someone else the opportunity to have their work or their dreams, to come into play. So that's how I got started with the company.
Sarah, that is so awesome. I admire you for
thank you.
Yeah. No, really. Just going for the things that you want to try in life. That's super cool. That kind of tugs at my heartstrings. And specifically when we were kind of talking offline before we started recording earlier, and I said, you're literally half of me and half of Yana. As Yana had said earlier, like writing is her is her gift, I believe.
Yes.
She's great at writing, and that's her thing. And for me, movies and film is my thing. I love film, and this past year I've been getting behind the camera and playing with stuff. Now, I have not stepped out of the boat in the terms of putting my work out like you have. That's why I said, you definitely speaking to me as in terms of like just really going for it.
Yeah.
But definitely that's something that we share in common is, now I'm not a screenplay, or as far as writing screenplays per se, I usually will have a vision or an idea for something, but not, you know what I mean, and producing things. But like I said, I love getting behind the camera, playing with things, and yeah. So I think that this is super duper cool.
Thank you.
Like that is so awesome, and I cannot wait to see the things that you're going to do with your production company. And hey, let's work together. That's all.
All right, sounds like a plan. Oh gosh. Yes, that sounds like a plan. I'm looking forward to it also. See, I just took a film and photography and videography class a couple of months ago. And I've been filming some stuff here. I'm actually getting ready to start my web series, and I just filmed the first episode for it a couple of weeks ago with an attorney down here. And so the name of it is called Damn Sis, You Can Clap. You Can Still Clap. And I came up with that because, and it just tells us around Black women, period.
Yeah.
Just like Malcolm X, stated, though, Black woman is the most disrespected woman in the world. That rings true. I mean, when you see a lot of stuff going on in our environment, the killing of, Breonna Taylor, that still kind of retches in my spirit, because that was something that totally unnecessary.
Absolutely.
Have to happen. This young lady had her whole life ahead of her, and to be taken out the way that she did, and for society, this United States, this un-United States, to have the little regard or to her life or her family is just, it's appalling. I just want, and I'm starting this series because, yes, we as a society, we need to recognize, Black women in the strides, but it's also important that we women in our own community support each other.
Yeah.
That to be jealous or, have envy for the next person that's doing great when you can do the same thing, or you can do better, or it's just all about encouraging each other and standing up for each other, and making sure that we all can eat, we all can have a piece of that pie, we all can do the same thing that the next person did if we just put our mind to it and just support each other. So that's my reasoning behind starting this. It's just time to really uplift Black women. And, we see that now with the election. Black women came out to this election and, brought it up. And we have our first Black female vice president ever. And all the Black women that came in or, helped to elevate the election. It's amazing. And so, I mean, we've always been great. We've always been queens. We've always been at the top of our game. It's just time to elevate that a whole lot more and, allow the world to see our shine and our accomplishments and what we as a group of people can actually do.
Yes, yes, yes. OMG. Y'all ever heard of the law of attraction? But this is it in action right here. I wasn't trying to rhyme, but But seriously, like, I'm so amazed every day by...
Thank you.
Yes, girl. We can clap for you, sis.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, but I'm so amazed that everything that you said is everything that Terry and I stand for on the show. Mm-hmm. That is our main aim, is to... This is not to give glory to ourselves, but to shine light on all the many women, Black women out there, there's movers and shakers that are doing the damn thing.
Yes. We are.
Yes. And it's so past time that we get our shining moment. We take our shining moment. We stand in that moment and we help others like us shine as well. Like that holding ourselves back, that, reserving our greatness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because here's the thing about that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Because here's the thing about that. We're bad about that. And that's not coming from a negative place. I'm saying because we see other cultures and other ethnic backgrounds doing that, and wrote something 2 days ago, and now they're expert in it, and suddenly they got this huge, you know what I'm saying, like this massive following or this huge support push behind them because they said, oh, I can do A, B, and C, and everybody's like, oh, okay, yeah. And we sit on our gifts, and I'm talking to myself. We sit on the things that God has given us, our passions, and we're like, well, I don't know, or whatever. And it's really about, like y'all just said, I mean, that's yes.
Yeah. No, that captures the whole essence. I was just saying that, like, we reserve our great while everybody else is shining and just good. Like,
exactly. Yeah.
We have so much to give, and sometimes it takes ourselves to be in that to that space to uplift one another for everybody else to catch it. But whether if they catch it or not, like, we have to rally around one another and saying, like what you said, yes, sis,
it's very
you can
important.
clap. Like, yes, sis, you can clap. You can clap your hands for her.
You can.
Don't miss
and
your
that's why I did it. Exactly. I that's why I started this series. It's important. It is past time for Black women to get the recognition and the props they need, and that's what I plan to do with this documentary, with this docuseries. So, thank you. I'm just so passionate about doing this.
Yes, put it out there. Get it on the interwebs.
Get them on there.
We can subscribe.
It's Beyonce. It's Beyonce's internet. It's a Black woman's internet right now. So go ahead and put it out there.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm definitely working on it. Yes.
No, this is so exciting. Sarah, you're amazing.
Thank you.
So speaking about all the strides, that you've these different lanes that you've stepped into and you are starting to overtake. I just want to know, what's your future vision for driving the culture forward? I mean, we just talked about how it's important for us to rally around each other and support each other, but through your work, how do you envision your content shifting the narrative of our stories, of the stories of Black women, stories of Black people?
Well, my eventual goal is to, have my own streaming channel and have my my production company, spearhead this. And I also want to start the streaming channel so that other people, especially Black women, can have a place or an opportunity or, somewhere where they can put their own productions up. Just uplifting our stories, just uplifting us as a community, period. Giving them the chance to display their talents and, get their own stories out there also. That's my eventual goal. And so that's why I'm trying to start out, because I really want to be, an example and a leader for our community, for those who don't have a voice, that they can't speak for themselves, or they can't, don't have the avenue or the money or the resources to want to produce their own show or write their own book. That's the whole idea behind Feel the Real production, is to give others a blessing and give others the opportunity the same way, the young man JD gave me, writing, those movie scripts for his company. So that's what I want to do. And so that's my goal, and that's what I see myself doing in the future for, our people.
Yeah, I think that's important too, as well, paying it forward. Because a lot of times, unfortunately, sometimes when we get to a certain place in life, we tend to forget about either where we came from and the things we had to do to get to where we had to get to. And it's like, oh, well, you'll figure it out. I figured it out. And it's like, no. Nepotism. Let's help each other out.
Yeah, that's very important. It's very important. And I think that's a fatal flaw that we see in the Black community now. I see it now. There is no, in some cases there is no togetherness, because we're too busy trying to climb the ladder for ourselves, and we're not reaching back and picking up the other people that we're leaving behind. And, that's not how God created us to be. It's imperative that we help each other. We're not getting the help from other communities. We go and support other communities, but we can't support ourselves. And that's a narrative that definitely needs to be changed in our community.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, all of that. Amen. All right. I'm sorry. Y'all be taking me to church, and sometimes I'll be wanting to wave my hand and say amen. I'll be forgetting I'm just sitting in the, church is where you're just feeling it. Just feeling it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, this has been such a joyous conversation. Before we wrap for the day, we do have a few closing questions that we want to ask.
Okay.
My first one that I want to throw out, by the time that this episode is released, 2020 shall be behind us.
Mm-hmm.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Yes.
What would you say has been one lesson that you've learned from 2020?
Ooh, a lot of lessons, but I think the one thing that I would definitely take from this is that be grateful for life and be grateful for what you have. Just in our community alone, just me being a nurse, working through this pandemic, so many people have lost their lives. So many family members were disconnected from seeing their loved ones go or pass away because they were not able to come in, and see their family members. Just a couple of months ago, I had a patient that was passing away from coronavirus, and I had to FaceTime her daughter and let her daughter look at her through a phone and give her last goodbyes before we, removed her off the ventilator. And that's a whole nother level of hurt, disconnect. It's that totally threw me for a loop. I've dealt with a lot of stuff in my life. I've seen patients pass away. I've seen death so many times, but to actually experience that particular event, you have a daughter who can't even come, or family members that can't even come and see their loved ones. as a nurse, that takes a toll on you. And it took me a long time to recover from that. So be grateful for life. Be grateful for family. Whatever little issues that you may have with your family members or your friends, squash it. Life is too short. And we've seen that. I mean, we're seeing that now. Too many people, young people, old people, have passed away from this disease. I've had a couple of family members pass away myself. Even in our community, our little small community here, we've had so many deaths related to and not related to coronavirus, and it's just it makes me appreciate what I have. I'm definitely not well off as other people, but I'm doing better than a whole lot of other people that are out here in this world. So that's my takeaway from 2020. Be grateful for everything and for what you have.
It's a great takeaway. I mean, some people would say, well, that's cliche, but that's a great, excellent takeaway. And that's something that we should keep in the forefront of our minds every single day. I think that's great.
Yes, that's real. That's real. And can we just say before, can we just say thank you for you, serving, for soldiering yourself in this way.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for, putting your life on the line every single day. Yeah,
every day,
absolutely. Yes. Now, it feels so weird to transition from that to this next question, but we know that you've got your web series that you're working on. Mm-hmm. You've authored a book already. Are there any new projects that we could be looking forward to, coming from you in 2021? Are you going to write another book? What do you have going on, or anything coming up?
I have writing some more, another book. I'm definitely working on that. I've got a couple of movie scripts and I'm going to be working on myself, and I'm hoping and praying that I could start my own. My daughter wants to start her own book and write her own book, so I'm going to be working on with her through that. I'm just going to take everything day by day. That's what's gotten me this far, as well as, the grace of God, because I'm just thankful for everything. And so I'm hoping to do that and to reach out to more Black women who, want to collaborate with me or, need some help or advice on how to get their own thing going.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. That is so awesome.
Yes. Well, like I said, it has been such a joy to connect with you.
Thank you.
And chat with you. How can our listeners connect with you and your work? If you have your social media handles you want to throw out, or
yes. So they can follow me on Instagram. I have 2 handles. My first one is just my main page at Sarah Carmele. I also have my Feel the Real page. So at Sarah Carmele and at Feel the Real Productions. Those are my 2 Instagram handles. My Facebook page is Sarah Carmele McGriff. My Twitter page, I have 2 of those. My main page is at s.carmel, and my business page, the film page, is at Feel the Real Productions. As far as my book goes, they can go to Amazon.com. It is available. It's $20 for the physical book, and it's like $4 for the Kindle version. And they could just look my name up or look up the name of the book, Mind Under Troubled Waters. And
yes, we'll have all that linked in our show notes. So we'll include all those links to the book, as well as how you connect directly with Sarah through her social media at Sarah Carmele and Feel the Real. We'll have Feel the Real Productions, and we'll have, like I said, everything listed for you guys.
Yes.
Wow.
This has been great. This has been awesome. I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation today.
Thank you. I enjoyed it too.
You tugged at our writer and filmmaking hearts. So.
I know. Sure did.
Thank you so much.
Encouraging us. Now we got to really go back to the lab. Terry and I have been sitting on our hands, and it's just like, you were sent to us for a reason. We got to on. We got to move on in 2021.
Oh yeah.
And the timing is legit too.
Yes,
So the
yes.
timing is perfect. Yeah.
Well, you guys, we appreciate you guys for listening to all of our phenomenal guests, the women that share on our show. Please continue to share the love and show the love to all of our guests and connect with all the great platforms and things and great works that they have going on. As always, everything will be listed on our website at melanatedconversations.com. Well, this episode will be directly linked so you can catch all the great things and stay connected and plugged in with all the things that Sarah has coming your way. Our aim here on the show is to always amplify, but also unify the voices of Black women. We want to create a space that is a safe space for a dialogue, but in sharing our lessons, as well as celebrating all the phenomenal successes that we are marking in this world. Mm-hmm. So thank y'all for joining us in this journey. If you have someone that you feel you want to shine and share, or you want to shine and share in this way, please send us a note. You can shoot us an email at info@melanatedconversations. We would love to hear from you. That's all I got. Terry, you want to share anything?
No, I think we can end off on that note. And until next time,
melanate on that.
Thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed our chat today. Keep the conversation going by heading to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leaving us a review.
Have a story of your own to share? Email us at info@melanatedconversations.com or connect with us on social media at Melanated Conversations. Till next time, keep raising your voice.